Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Procurement Playbook. I am your host Deepak Kamboj, and today we are diving deep into a groundbreaking piece of legislation that's set to reshape the AI landscape. Yes, we are going to talk about the European Union AI Act. Imagine a future where AI isn't just a buzzword, but it's a powerful tool that harnessed for good. That's the vision behind this landmark legislation. It's not just about regulating AI, it's about ensuring that AI is developed and used responsibly. I'm excited to get into the nuts and bolts of it, so let's start with the basic. What is the EU actually trying to achieve with this AI Act? What's the big picture goal here? Well, the EU goal is crystal clear: to create a world where AI is trustworthy. This means that it's safe, transparent, and it also respects our fundamental rights. It's like building a foundation for the future and ensuring that AI is a force for good, not a threat. But how do you regulate something as complex and ever evolving as AI? The EU's answer is a risk based approach. Now, they've broken down AI systems into four different risk levels. And each level has its own set of regulations, rules, and obligation which the companies needs to follow. Now, the first one is unacceptable risk. The second one is high risk. The third one is limited risk. And the fourth one is minimal or no risk. The highest level is called unacceptable risk, and this covers systems that are seen as a clear threat to safety or fundamental rights. Things like government run social scoring systems. Those are completely banned under the Act. And this shows how seriously the EU is taking this whole thing. So the next level down is high risk. This one covers a lot of different AI applications that are used in really important areas like healthcare, education, even law enforcement. I am talking about AI systems that are used for hiring decisions, diagnosing diseases. That's the kind of AI system where the stakes are pretty high and there's a real potential for harm if things go wrong. And that's why the Act sets some pretty strict rules for the companies developing these kind of AI systems. Things like rigorous risk assessments, making sure that the data quality is top notch, they have detailed documentation and all other supporting documents. And it's not just about stopping the development of AI that could be harmful. It's also about making sure even the beneficial AI is developed and used responsibly. Now, let's take an example of what this would look like in a real world. Say, a company is developing a new AI powered medical diagnosis tool. And these AI systems will help the doctors diagnose skin cancers from images. What would they need to do in order to comply with the Act? So, under the AI Act, this would definitely fall under the high risk category. Well, before they can even think about launching their tool, they need to conduct a really thorough risk assessment. This would mean identifying all the potential harms like misdiagnosis or any bias in AI recommendation. They also need to prove that their AI has been trained on a huge and diverse data set of images to avoid any bias creeping in, because they would not want the AI to be accurate for certain or specific skin tones than others. And then they have to build in systems for human oversight so the doctors can review the AI's recommendation and make the final call. These companies also need to be super clear with healthcare professionals about how the AI tool will work, what are its limitations, and how important that human oversight is. So it's about creating a system where AI is assisting doctors but not replacing them. And even once the tool is out there in the world, the company's responsibility doesn't stop there. They need to keep monitoring its performance, They need to collect the data on its accuracy, and they need to fix any issue that will pop up. So it's like a constant feedback loop, making sure the AI is doing what it's supposed to do and catching any problems early on. Now, the act also goes into the areas like biometric identification. It completely bans the use of things like facial recognition in public spaces for law and enforcement. And facial recognition has been a hot topic lately. A lot of debates are going on about how it could be misused, and it sounds like the EU is trying to draw a line in the sand here. But there are some limited exceptions, like using facial recognition to find a missing child or trying to prevent a terrorist attack. But even those are super strictly regulated and will need special authorization. So the message is very clear. Biometric data is a sensitive stuff and it needs to be handled with extreme care. And then they're also tackling those big general purpose AI model, the ones that can be adapted to do all sort of different tasks. For example, you have GPT, Claude, and Gemini. Those systems are incredibly powerful, but they also come with a unique challenge when it comes to transparency and accountability. So, how does the Act deal with those challenges? Well, the EU is bringing in specific transparency obligation for all those general purpose models. The developers will need to provide detailed information about how they train the models, what data was used, and how they actually function. And this will be crucial for understanding how these models make decisions and for spotting any potential biases. So it's about building trust in these powerful AI systems, especially as they become more and more part of our daily lives. And let's not forget about safety. How will the EU make sure that these big AI models are being used responsibly? So the act requires extensive risk management measures for the really powerful and impactful models. Think of the model that are being used to control critical infrastructure or making big decisions in healthcare or finance. Those models will be subjected to self assessment, mitigation of systematic risks, and really tough cybersecurity requirements. So it's like building a safety net around these powerful AI systems to prevent any unintended consequences. Now, let's talk about limited risk AI systems, which make up a significant chunk of the AI applications which we interact with daily. These are systems that don't have life altering consequences if something goes wrong, but still require a level of accountability and transparency. A great example of this category is chatbots. You all have probably encountered them on websites when you are looking for help or customer support. These AI tools answers questions, guide you through basic tasks, or connect you to a human agent. While they're incredibly useful, they are not making decisions that could drastically impact someone's life. So, how does the EU AI Act regulate these systems? The key requirement here is disclosure. Companies must clearly inform users that they are interacting with an AI system and not a human. This might sound like a small detail, but it's actually a big deal when it comes to transparency and trust. Imagine reaching out to customer service with a complaint and thinking that you are chatting with a human agent when in reality you are speaking to a chatbot. Without disclosure, this can feel deceptive, especially if the chatbot isn't capable of resolving your issue. The EU AI Act addresses this by ensuring users know they are engaging with an AI, which helps managing expectations and prevents frustrations. Another aspect is accessibility and accountability. These systems need to make it easy for users to escalate issues to a human when necessary. For example, if a chatbot can't resolve your problem or provides incorrect information, there should be a clear path to connect with a live representative. These regulations also emphasizes the need for companies to continuously improve these systems. While not as heavily monitored as high risk AI, limited risk systems still need to perform reliably and adhere to ethical guidelines, particularly when they influence customer experience or brand reputation. So, while these systems are less critical, the EU AI Act ensures they operate transparently, fairly, and effectively, enhancing trust between companies and the users. Finally, let's look at the minimal or no risk category. These are the unsung heroes of AI. Simple, low stakes tools that quietly make our lives easier without posing significant risks. Think of AI powered email filter, like the spam filter in your inbox. These systems analyze your incoming emails, flag suspicious ones, and direct them to the spam folder. They are straightforward, non intrusive, and have a low chance of causing harm. If the filter mistakenly flags an important email, it's minor inconvenience but not a major issue. Because of their minimal impact, these systems face the least regulatory scrutiny under the EU AI Act. But that doesn't mean that they completely unregulated. Developers are still encouraged to ensure these systems are accurate, reliable, and free from any biases. So, why is this category important? While they might seem trivial, minimal risk AI systems are often the first point of contact people have with AI. Tools like autocorrect, recommendation engines, or personal productivity apps shapes our perception of how AI functions in our daily life. Is these systems work seamlessly, they foster trust and acceptance of AI as a whole. The EU AI Act also ensures these systems remain accessible. For instance, a user should be able to easily disable or override these features if they prefer. This is part of the Act's broader philosophy, empowering people to understand and control the technology they interact with. So, the limited and minimal risk category shows how the EU AI Act balances innovation with responsibility. For limited risk applications like chatbot, the focus is on transparency and user empowerment. For minimal risk systems like email filters, the emphasis is more on reliability and user's choice. These measures might seem simple, but they reflect a deeper commitment to fostering an AI driven world that respects individual rights, promotes fairness, and builds trusts. Even the smallest AI tool have a role to play in shaping our technology future. And that's what makes the EU Act so comprehensive. It ensures that no AI system, no matter how small or simple, is overlooked. So, you might be wondering, how does this legislation impact me or my organization? Well, here's the thing. The EU AI Act is not just about Europe, it's setting a global standard. If your company uses or develops AI, these rules could shape your compliance, innovation, and even market access strategies. It's call to action for business to start thinking proactively about AI ethics and governance. The companies that adapt early will be the ones to lead in this new era of responsible AI. The EU AI Act is more than just a set of rules. It's a framework for building a future where AI is a tool we can trust, one that works for everyone, not just a privileged few. As procurement professionals, business leaders, or even just curious citizens, we all have a stake in how AI evolves. The decisions which we make today as policymakers, developers, or users will shape the world of tomorrow. So let's stay informed, ask the right questions, and make sure we are part of the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to the Procurement Playbook. I am your host, Deepak Kamboj. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. Until next time, this is Deepak Kamboj signing off. Stay curious and keep learning.